6 minutes in. Oh, we're starting now, but we're 6 minutes late. Welcome back to the podcast, folks, the Tesla Talks podcast. This is episode 10, believe it or not. I can't believe that I say that at every beginning of every podcast that I can't believe we've made it, but it's truth. Like from week to week, it may just blow up. And to some people, that may be good. Let me introduce my guests to you guys, and I'll just stop rambling. On my right, top right, we've got Paul Tesla Canuck joining us back by popular demand. He's been off for a few weeks, but welcome back, Paul.
I'm back in the land of the living.
Yes. I don't know if that's a timely joke or that's... Anyways.
No, that's just forget I said that.
Yes. And below us here, we have Franklin, a.k.a. Mother Frunker. Hey, buddy.
Hey, how you doing?
Good. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Always glad to be here.
I was going to say.
Always. Yeah.
I like your garage. It's really cool.
Yes. You look like David and Eric in their garage. Like it almost looks the same.
This here is for my video for tomorrow.
Ooh.
Very cool. Can't wait.
So.
Yes.
And real quick, shout out to East Bay.
East
awesome
Bay.
Sweater. Yes, Tesla Club East Bay. So.
Yes. Sweet.
I want to throw it out there. All right. We're good to go.
We're good to go. Okay. Quick house cleaning before we get to the topics. We got quite a bit, with everything shut down, you would think there wouldn't be Tesla news, but you know what? Leave it up to Elon on Twitter to keep us full with news this week. What I was saying was, let's do the housekeeping stuff. If you want to leave a question, if you want a question answered, you want to speak to us, you can either do it here live, and someone's making a comment right now. Chad saying hi. Come into the chat if you're watching this live, and you can leave a question. We can answer it near the end of the show or during the show, or you can leave a question on any of the social media platforms that I'm on or these guys are on. And if you leave it to them and just say it's for the podcast, they will forward it to me. But the best way to do it is the email. Just email me Tesla Talks Questions at gmail.com. Just Tesla Talks Questions at gmail.com. Throw in your question there, and I guarantee you some way, somehow, we will entertain your question and probably answer it too. What do you think, guys? Do you think we can take a shot at answering if they're nice enough to go out of their way and leave
as long as there's no math involved, I'm good.
Oh, well, we got Franklin here.
Yeah,
And we got Elon too. Anyone watching this at home, I say you don't have to watch. You can listen to it, or you can stream it on. Which, by the way, our audio podcast version comes out usually a couple days afterwards, a day or two afterwards. You can get it on TuneIn Radio, so you can listen to it in your car as you're driving and commuting and stuff like that. Not that many people are driving anymore, but anyways, or you can get it on Apple Podcasts. Those are the two places. But what I was going to say, and now he took it off. If you're watching this on YouTube or you're watching it live, Franklin has brought a special guest here tonight, and his name is the one and only Elon Musk. Nice to meet you, Elon. Elon. Yeah, she sounded like him. Elon's not going to say too much, but he's going to.
Is he going to dance?
He'll come in and out of the podcast as time goes on.
That was Paul. Okay, what we need to do is we need to get a soundboard of Elon Musk.
Yes.
And all his different next week. Okay, just give me time. I will make one.
Yeah. Oh, I know. If anything can be done, you'll do it for sure. Okay. First and foremost, let's just talk. And we're not going to discuss this too much. It was news, but we don't need to discuss it too much. The earnings, not the earnings, sorry. The numbers. Let me see it up here. I will just.
I hope they earn a lot.
Yeah. No, I mean, in terms of there's not a lot of news about it, but you know what? It was better than expected. And I'm no expert when it comes to numbers and stuff like that, folks. I don't know if these guys profess to be, but I certainly don't. So I will just put it right up here on the screen if you're watching it. 88,400 vehicles in the first quarter. Apparently, the experts weren't expecting this. I mean, I don't think anyone was expecting it, but that's pretty good for the last week being shut down.
I think the adjusted expectations were 78,000, if I recall correctly. It's been a few days since I read it, but I think the bigger part of the story is my understanding is they actually produced over 100,000 vehicles in the quarter, and this is what they delivered, right?
Yeah, yeah. Because as we know,
Pretty
the
impressive.
production. Go ahead.
It's still, I was just gonna say, it's really impressive if you consider factory shutdown, harder to deliver. When you factor in all the changes that's happening, it's a really impressive number, especially if you compare it to year over year. Someone tweeted out a percentage chart, and I don't know off the top of my head, but if I remember looking, Tesla's the only one that had a percentage increase, where everyone else was no, Kia had 1% increase. Okay, shout out to Kia, but everyone else was like 0 or below. Yeah, right. So Tesla's like really impressive numbers, all considering.
Well, I knew it was going to be a really good quarter because whenever all of your referrals from you get, from your YouTube videos or whatever, when they all close before the end of the quarter, that's usually a great sign, and that's how I know that it's going to be a good quarter.
That's a good point. You know what? You do bring up a good point, and the same thing happened to me, except for one guy. And every not a quarter, but every few months, I keep looking to see if this guy. I feel bad for the guy. If he hasn't got his car yet, or if it's just a glitch in my referral. But there's a guy. If you're listening to this at home, his name is Cole. Cole ordered a car back on the 17th of January. Yeah. According, I don't want to. It doesn't matter. According to this, Cole hasn't picked up got his car delivered yet. And there's other people that ordered their cars like back last month in March. A couple people in March, a couple people in February, and they all got all their cars before poor Cole. So Cole, if you're watching or listening out there, I feel bad for you if you really sit there.
Okay, but wait a minute. Should we feel bad because maybe you ordered the Roadster? No, the Roadster's not part of the program.
Okay.
What I was going to say about that is it's kind of interesting because I'm sure you guys get quite a few referrals, right? What's the longest you've seen someone wait? So for me,
3 months. I've seen 3 months.
I've seen a guy wait 4 months for his car.
Really?
Yeah, that's because I was tracking, and I don't know why, but I'm just kind of obsessed with numbers. I was tracking to see how long it takes for them to take delivery, and 4 months was like my record from like referral to delivery.
Okay, well, that brings up a good point and maybe a talking point here. I'll start with you, Paul. How long from when you, and I don't mean
2 years.
March 30. No, I don't mean the 2 years. I mean from when you placed your order to when you got your car. How long did you wait?
Okay, so the Model X we got in September of 2017, and that one took 3 weeks. The Model 3 was really quick. We got that in June of 2018, and I think it was 2 weeks or less between confirming the order and getting the car. So,
Franklin?
So when I actually placed in my order, I could have took delivery of it 2 weeks after. So basically in Ontario, for those who don't know, Tesla did like a big, massive delivery event for all the people in Canada, or all the people in Ontario, rather, at the International Center. And they delivered low at like 1,500.
That's where I got mine.
Yeah, we all did.
So I was supposed to receive mine a week before they started doing all the mass deliveries, but I ran into a problem with insurance because I couldn't find an insurance company that would insure the car because no one had it listed. The car is literally too new.
Oh, really?
So I had to delay my delivery by a week. So technically Tesla's ready to deliver the vehicle within 2 weeks. I ended up waiting 3 just because of my insurance mix-up.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. I've known you this long, and I didn't know that you almost got your car before the mass rush.
Correct. Yeah.
Really?
They booked me an appointment, and I just couldn't do it because of the insurance.
You don't need insurance.
What is it?
I mean,
whoa.
This is a bit of an aside, but one of these days I have to tell you guys about how Tesla lost my wire transfer, and I almost didn't get my Model 3.
Well, Tesla loses a lot of things for you, Paul.
They do. I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
Wow.
They didn't lose it. They just want you to pay twice.
Yeah.
Well, I'm like, yeah. And the guy's, it was funny because I go to pick it up. He goes, oh, so where's your bank draft? And I said, oh, I paid you guys already by wire transfer. No, you didn't.
Oh, that's scary, eh? That's a pucker moment.
Yeah, totally. So anyhow, don't pay by wire transfer out there, people.
Moral of that story, yeah. I think that's what I ended up doing, yeah. Wow.
Real quick, Chad said California deliveries were crawling at best prior to shutdown. This is an amazing number. China Giga factory will have to carry the Q2 numbers.
You read my mind, frankly. That's exactly what I was going to bring up. Chad's comment there, and yeah, you know what? I think I gotta wonder. I don't know, but or maybe they said it, and I didn't get that part. Maybe you guys can chime in if I'm not correct. But I gotta think that China played a big role in the numbers. Now, I'm not saying out of the 88,000 they did half or anything, but you know what? I'm curious to know what the numbers would be without China, if they would have.
Last I heard, China's up to 3,000 per week.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is pretty impressive.
Even during COVID?
Well,
no,
but
COVID.
After COVID, yeah.
Okay.
3,000 a week, and you have to remember that they're producing them again regularly. So 3,000 a week over a whole quarter is quite a feat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are those only for the Chinese market, though, or are they being exported back to?
As far as I know, only for the Chinese market.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah. And what makes it interesting is, well, no, you're right. I'll just leave it.
It can be roughly like, I mean, at 3,000 a week, 12 weeks, we're looking at what, like 36,000 roughly delivered this coming quarter, assuming they don't ramp up any further than 3,000 a week and they stay consistent.
Yeah.
So, I mean, let's call it 35 for simplicity's sake. 35,000 for a whole quarter is quite a few, right? It's almost half of what they did.
Yeah, and keep in mind too, they're just starting out, and they did the slow ramp up, and they were all getting in gear and everything, and then COVID came, and they had to shut down. And when that was all over, I don't even know if it is over in China, but when they started back, they had to start off. So basically, their ramp was interrupted. So for them to be doing 3,000 is pretty impressive.
Well, it's interesting because I disagree with a lot of what Elon has said about COVID. I think he's come around now, but back in the early days. And I can see why he'd be frustrated, because can you imagine, if not for COVID, what we might be talking about today?
Oh, wow.
In 3 months from now.
It's
definitely put a temporary kink, if you will, right, into the production and delivery.
Oh, yeah.
Well, speaking of production, Dax and I were talking about it last week, how this might help them just the factory for Model Y deliveries, or the Model Y ramp.
Oh, with the downtime. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was reading, Dax, that apparently it is true that they're tweaking now as we speak to increase the ramp of the Y.
Yep, I read that also.
Yeah. So we talked about it last week before these articles surfaced. Dax and I, Dax called it.
It was a speculation, right? But it made sense too. Right?
You heard it here first, folks.
Dax has inside information. Yeah. You heard it here. You better follow him.
I've got Elon's ear. Is that what you guys tell me next? I wish. Poor Elon, he's just scrambling. But I mean, what we didn't touch on at the beginning of this show is what we've been. I mean, I hate to say it's the norm, but in the last couple of weeks, at the beginning of the show, we've been checking in to see how everyone's doing with the pandemic and everything like that. And we just rushed right into the news. So I apologize, guys. I should ask you, how are you guys doing? Your family and loved ones and everything? Everyone good?
Who? Yeah.
Both of you. Yeah.
I actually just had a relative in Italy pass away because of COVID.
Sorry to hear that.
That's
terrible.
My condolences.
I mean, here everybody's okay. We've been sheltering in place now. This is day 21 for me and my family. So we're going a little stir crazy. My production of videos has come to a halt. I just, there's so many other more important things going on right now that I just haven't had the motivation to pump out those videos. But hopefully this thing's going to pass and we're going to get back to normal sooner than we expect. That'd be nice.
Yeah. No, buddy, just off before you'd come on the stream, Franklin and I were talking off air, same thing. For me, at least, you prioritize things, right? What's more important. And I haven't been pumping out other than the podcast here. I think I did one last week with the charge port issue. I haven't been putting too much out. We're just taking it day by day.
I've always gone in waves with videos. So I have a ton of ideas. I have a massive list of things to do. And I'll go in waves and I'll be really motivated and do a bunch of videos and I'll pump them out, and then I'll just not stop and I'll be like burnt out and I need a break, and then I'll go on like a break and stop
Yeah.
for a while. So I'm kind of like on my like pump out phase right now.
Yeah. That's YouTube.
I'm
buddy.
on my break phase right now.
Yeah, and then I've heard so many YouTube creators say that's how it works, right? I mean, I don't know if it's just a human condition thing, but that's how it works. We go up and down. So I'm glad to hear you guys are doing good.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Yourself?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Same, buddy. It's same as you guys. We're making the best of it. I've got 2 small kids and wife's working from home and stuff like that. So we do the best we can. And everyone I talk to, friends and family, they say sometimes it's like that it's starting to get to them. It's like you guys are saying, it's week 4 here in Southern Ontario, or in Ontario, or I guess you can say Canada as a whole. But yeah, it's getting to everyone, and I see it outside on the street, on the road, and in the news and stuff like that. People are just on edge, and you can't blame them. I mean, being cooped up and stuff like that, we're not meant to be cooped up, or we're not that we're not meant, but we're not accustomed to being cooped up. So it is what it is. But I'm
Makes
glad.
me feel bad for my dogs, because now I know how they live. No wonder they want to go out for walks constantly. I
This
can't
is
say
why
that too loud.
you guys, yes, that's why people at home and you guys, you shouldn't go to zoos and aquariums. And anyways, that's.
I heard a tiger
freaking
got infected last week at some
The
zoo.
tiger.
It was a
Oh.
tiger.
Yeah, and he was tested.
Do we need to?
No, okay, forget I said that. Let's move on.
No.
He-
You brought it up, so I have to say something.
He went on a business trip to China,
Yes.
so he was in quarantine, and he had to get tested. It was just important.
Yeah.
Why did they test a tiger when there's so many things going bad in New York? I don't know. Anyways, that's just my 2 cents.
That's a rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chad, by the way, real quick.
Yeah, moving on.
Yes.
The few people we have watching live are going to leave.
Yeah.
Moving to the next topic. It's along the COVID lines and stuff like that. And it's tell me if you guys noticed that after this was announced, the stock went up. But we're talking about Tesla making or designing a ventilator using mostly Model 3 parts. Like, is that not cool? I don't know if anyone's watched the video. If you haven't, pause this.
It's pretty cool.
And yeah, go on YouTube and just search for Tesla ventilator Model 3. And it's like a 3 or 4 minute video, and all the engineers take turns explaining things and stuff like that. And it's so cool because you recognize like the screen, the 15-inch screen, you recognize that as the output, and it's amazing.
I know.
You know, like, and don't take this the wrong way. I mean, this is, all in fun and whatnot. And I would never wish, COVID on anybody or on myself or whatever like that. So, but I'm just saying that as a Tesla fan, if I did need a respirator or a ventilator, I think it'd be pretty cool to have a Tesla one, and it would probably help me pull through.
I know what you're saying, Paul. I know you're saying it facetiously and everything like that, obviously.
Yeah, this is all in fun. Like,
because from what I understand, and I'm no health expert, please don't take any health advice from this show.
Yeah,
but I've heard if you're on a ventilator, it's really, really bad, and the prognosis after they hook you up to a ventilator and the damage afterwards is not pretty. But it may save your life, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you're watching at home or you're watching on a YouTube thing, this one still picture of the Model 3 screen, see in the bottom left corner here, they still have the little car icon.
Yeah.
I think that's, I don't know why.
There's times where I wish I went into hardware instead of software.
Yeah.
This is like one of those times where you see like really cool uses of hardware being helpful.
Yeah.
I wish I knew and understood it more.
Yeah.
I think this is a really, if I can get serious for a moment,
I don't know.
I struggle with it, but I try. I think this is like Tesla's got a lot of great engineers, and I think this is fantastic what they've done here to take parts that they would otherwise use in their vehicles, and through ingenuity, right? Just sheer ingenuity, come up with a working prototype so quickly of a life-saving medical device. So I have nothing but such great things to say about Tesla for doing this, and for Elon to give his team the space to go in and be creative and come up with something like this.
Yep. Oh, I echo your thoughts on that one, Paul, too. And there's other companies and people out there that are stepping up to the plate
Yeah.
in this crisis and doing equally as good stuff, or if not the same stuff that Tesla's doing. The only reason we're talking about this and Tesla is because it's the Tesla show, right? In this one picture, I think this is the infotainment, the MCU control board that's controlling that they've, I guess, reprogrammed, and it's controlling the ventilator. That's pretty awesome. And somebody's getting a message as we speak. And
Sorry.
No, this is live and this is real.
I put my phone on
raw and real.
silent.
So did I.
Just saying, Franklin. Just saying.
All my cameras just went offline, so fun stuff.
Oh yeah. Are we gonna lose your connection here?
Hopefully not. I'm still going strong.
Yeah. Okay.
So guys, so we know Tesla's doing this. We know some other great companies are stepping up to the plate. And yeah, like I was saying, it's so great to see this. I hope though that it's not going to be needed. Like I hope this thing passes. I've heard some encouraging news today that it's going to be not as bad as people had anticipated in the modeling. That doesn't mean that people should stop social distancing or anything like that. But I hope it's not needed. But it's so great to see companies like Tesla step up to the plate and do something like this.
Exactly.
What I understand, I know we're going off topic here, but the reason why it's not going to be as bad as people predicted is because of social distancing, because of the measures in place.
Yep.
Just Ontario, for example, without measures in place, it's like 100,000 dying versus 10 to 15,000, right? So it's like a huge jump. And if you guys are watching this, wherever you live, please follow whatever your local or government people are saying. Yeah, whatever they're telling you to do, because it's important, right?
Yeah.
So.
That's what I was saying in that last video. Don't listen to the experts, the medical experts, wherever you are. Not so much listen to your government, depending on where you live, if you know what I'm saying, without getting political.
I think we all get what you're saying.
Listen,
I feel bad for you, Chad.
I only follow Tesla content on Twitter. And I never knew how many people I follow on Twitter are medical experts up until the last couple of weeks.
Are you being serious or joking?
Oh, I'm joking. 100% I'm joking. Because I don't go out of my way to post medical stuff because it's not my area of expertise. So I shouldn't be giving advice out to people. My advice is to follow people that know what they're saying. Right? If that makes sense.
No, I get it.
You're probably not going to get that on Twitter. You're not going to get that on Facebook or whatever social platform you follow. Some of the governments are really bad, so you got to follow. Make sure you're following.
Some are really good.
Some are really good. Yeah. So make sure you're following. Make sure you're following medical experts. Right, is all I'm going to say.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's smart.
Yeah, because the medical experts, in my opinion, and yes, we're going to get back to Tesla news in a second. The medical experts don't belong to a political stripe or a party. They're doing what they know to do, which is give you sound medical advice to save your life, hopefully, right? So listen to your medical experts wherever you are. And yeah, we will get through this. Good news today here in Southern Ontario, or in Ontario. I keep saying Southern Ontario, it just rolls off my tongue, but I should just say the whole province. And wherever you are, hopefully everything is looking better for you in the near future, in the very, very near future. Moving right along, unless anyone else has anything to say about the ventilator, we'll move right along.
Stop signs.
Yes. you and your segues, yes. Stop signs, and traffic lights. And this topic, and once again, I did it again. Okay, I didn't do it from the very beginning, so I'm going to do it now. This one comes by. This article comes to you guys by Teslarati. The last one, I believe, was it electric? I apologize, but I'm working on it, folks. I'm working on it. This one's by Teslarati, talking about the rollout by with the autopilot, traffic lights, and stop signs. And the only reason we're doing this topic as news is because the three of us here are Canadians, and we're super, super jealous because, of course, Elon is saying weeks away, and then for the other markets, what do you say, third quarter?
Sometime in the third quarter. So basically it could be like the end of the third quarter, just before the fourth.
It could be Halloween.
Yeah.
Technically, you didn't even say which third quarter.
Sorry, no, it can't be Halloween. It would have to be September.
Yeah, but he didn't say which third quarter, so he can be like the third quarter of 2022.
Yeah,
I mean,
and that's what I was going to say. It's like he said weeks away for the U.S. And now, I mean, we sound like a broken record every time we say it, and I'm sure anyone listening knows this. But whatever Elon says, when he says weeks, how do we translate that, guys?
Months.
Yes.
Dog years? No.
We need to create an Elon calculator. So there should be a mathematical way to do this. You take all his release. Hold on. Hear me out for a second. You take all the stuff of when he said things would be released, and you calculate the real release time, and then you grab an average of all those numbers, and then you use that as your calculator. Yeah.
Elon time.
That's awesome.
But someone out there wants to do it.
Not me. So on the story, like I totally understand why it would be released by geography, and I understand why the U.S. would be first. Probably more receptive of a regulatory environment than say a Canada or certainly Europe. But what troubles me with, and I'm going to get a little bit of a pet peeve here. I'm sorry, folks, but you'll probably feel the same way as me. There seems to be no rhyme or reason to the release schedule, even within a jurisdiction, right? So Franklin, you are on 12. You just got 12.5, right? 2025.
I had it because I did the hardware 3 upgrade.
Okay, I have the hardware 3 upgrade, but
I did mine. No, hold on. I did mine after you.
Paul was basically saying, "Screw you! I had it too."
Yeah,
exactly. But hold on. If it makes you feel any better, Mark had the same update you had. I did my full self-driving update a day after him. So he did his on the Wednesday. I did mine on the Thursday.
Yes.
He got the old version. I got the newer version, and he has been able to update since, where I've been running the newest version.
I've heard of that too, right? But back to you, because what you said so interesting today. You had 12.1 this morning, and then you got 12.5 just now.
Correct. Yeah.
I'm on 8.3. Dax, you're on.
Well, see, I'll throw in another thing into your equation there. I was on 8.3 this morning. I go into my car, and I'm now on 12.1. I was hoping to be 12.5, but it's 12.1. So,
Okay. So this just shows you, like, it's kind of crazy, even within a jurisdiction, that there seems to be no rhyme or reason to the release schedule. And I would just love to know what the philosophy is behind it. I mean, just communicate with us. Say, okay, either we have none, right? Or we'll let you, switch between standard and advanced and allow you to kind of check yourself, which sometimes that works. Most of the time it doesn't. I just wish there was more predictability in it.
The standard and advanced square is just like a fake toggle to make people satisfied. I was actually going to do a video about this in terms of how updates are actually sent out.
Yeah.
But basically the short version of it is it's done in batches for stability control.
I get that.
But still beyond that though, right? We all live within 50 kilometers of each other or 30 miles, right?
Yeah.
Our VINs are roughly the same on our Model 3s. So if VINs aren't a factor in the batch, proximity isn't a factor in the batch.
I think it's percentages.
What is their batch based on?
I think it's percentages. So like they want a certain percentage running the newest version, and once they get enough data to deem it safe enough, and once they say, oh, it's safe enough, let's increase that percentage. So once they receive enough data saying the version's safe, they'll update more cars to it. And until then, everyone else is trickling through different versions that were safe enough to pass quality control, right? That would be my take on it. Yeah. It's the only logical thing that makes sense. And the only way to do percentages is randomization.
But when everyone's on a different version, it's kind of weird because, right, if you've had 12.1 for a while, right?
See, I was beta testing that for Dax, who has it now. So I sent it back to Tesla, and I said, hey, it's safe. Dax is going to be safe. Go give this to Dax now. Dax has it.
So you freed up your spot.
Okay, but I don't have it, and now you're on to 2.5. So 12.1's been released in the US for weeks.
Paul, you should be thanking me for risking my life every day for you. Okay.
Okay. Anyhow, just like, the bottom line is like, I just feel like there's no rhyme or reason. I get the percentages. That's how Apple releases their software for the iPhone, for example. But once they do release it, everybody gets it.
Yeah,
Right?
Paul,
Well,
just so you know, I got an
Yes.
update. So I probably 12.15. So you should be getting 12.1 soon. So I'll give you
Great. I'll get
Well-
8.3.1.
There is no such thing.
here's the thing. You brought up a good point, right? So let's compare it to Apple for a second.
Okay.
Apple has a developer build that comes out way before the consumer build, and that developer build is the one where they do all the testing. So it's no different than me like testing out my version for Dax, who got it today, right? That kind of thing. And keep in mind this, right? Comparing a phone to a car is kind of hard. If a phone malfunctions, what's the worst that happens? Mind you, I don't know, the Galaxy, what was it, the Note 7? That's pretty bad malfunction.
Take down a plane.
But what I'm saying is, it's like, if they put an update where your phone, crashes or does something stupid, it's not going to affect too many people. Like, it'll affect individual people, but I mean, as a whole, it's not going to kill anybody. Whereas a car, if you put an update on a car where it's bad, could be problematic really quickly. So
No, I'm
I
not
don't know.
disputing that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
No, I was going to say,
Yeah.
I think Paul totally understands that, and I get that too. He's just wondering the rhyme or reason. Now, we're way off topic on no fault. This is just organic conversation, right? Which is what I wanted for the whole show in the first place. I'll just leave it at this last comment. We're trying to wrap our heads around the rhyme or reason of who gets what and why they get. This is coming from a company that if you were the first person on March 31st, 2016,
I know where it's going with this.
Yes, everyone knows where I'm going with this. To put down a deposit for a Model 3, and then Buddy on February 1st, 2018, puts down his order. He gets his car before you, because right now that's exactly what happened for many people with the Model 3, and prior to a few weeks ago, that's exactly what was happening with people with the Model Y. So there's no rhyme or reason. Like I'm thinking, like Paul, you were saying you were probably within the first minute or so to put your order in for the Cybertruck.
Yeah,
you're first in line. Well, I can guarantee you're not first in line.
No, I'm 36,000.
Yeah.
I was like within the first 2-3 minutes. I'm 36,000.
I got mine within seconds because I was reloading the page instantly.
Yeah.
Even before he announced the page URL, and I think I'm like 20,000. But I guarantee you, I will not get my Cybertruck. I will not be the 20,000th person.
No, because it's not going to come to Canada until after.
Well, even that, Billy Bob in Keswick that orders his in March of 2021, just because he saw everyone in the States getting theirs. He's going to get it before all of us.
Yeah.
Or if your name is Bob in Keswick.
Considering moving, truthfully. Take delivery of my Cybertruck and then drive it back home to Canada. I'll relocate my home after.
Wow, that's hardcore, dude.
Yeah, that's pretty hardcore. You love Tesla. You win.
Exactly. You win the internet. But I think also you're also going to pay a crap load of California state tax too, which by all means it can't be any more than Ontario tax.
Okay, I lived there for 3 years.
Here we go.
It's not any. It's about the same.
Is it?
So, but that's a topic of a completely different discussion.
Well, why not talk about? We've talked about everything other than traffic lights for this. But anyways, we talked about it last week, and many people have talked about it. Everyone knows that that whole software that's coming. So we actually don't even need to touch on that. All I was getting at, which we basically stayed on topic, was the rollout and how it's coming to the US, and then it will come to Canada and other international.
And then Europe, right? Like Europe's always the last to get it.
Yeah, I feel sorry
as far as I can see. Yeah. I don't know about Australia, but
he said he's working with the regulators in Europe. He's making slow progress, I believe is his tweet.
Yeah.
So I mean, some progress is better than no progress.
Oh, of course.
And you can't fault him. It's not his fault. It's the regulations and just how it is, right?
Well, if anyone's watching from Australia, I'd love to know whether or not they get their software releases before or after Canada or Europe, right?
Yeah.
Don't you think they get it early? Because they're like days ahead, aren't they?
Moving right along to our next topic.
This topic's for Ryan, right?
Yeah. Sorry.
The next topic is for Ryan.
It's basically for Ryan, but also what I want to do before we get to this topic, thanks to Pollock 323, he's the one that corrected me. That first topic that we talked about was brought to you by Inside EVs, and just like this topic is also brought to you by Inside EVs. Tesla is said that they're going to offer a basic autopilot for the people like you and I and you guys down below that have the original long-range rear-wheel drive car, because we have autopilot, so it doesn't matter for us, but some people, like my friend Ryan Wins, he didn't get it, so he was sort of left out, and if he wanted it, he'd have to pay that huge price. So what happened was, like I said, once again, like I said at the beginning of the show, Elon was pretty active on Twitter this past week, and some guy named Jason on Twitter asked any way original long-range rear-wheel drive Model 3 owners can get an opportunity again to purchase basic autopilot for a slightly discounted price. Elon replied to him and said, "Oh, sure, good point." It's almost like he forgot. It's like, oh, sure, good point. And then he said, he went on to say, "We'll discuss it with the team and make it available to buy in the Tesla app." So that's good. I mean,
I think it's a great idea from a shareholder perspective, because they can earn some revenue from this. I'm sure a lot of early purchasers, I think they discontinued the long range rear wheel drive in something like June of 2019 or something like that. So there's quite a few of them out there. And if they can get some revenue that they otherwise wouldn't, considering that they're offering it standard today, I say go for it. I don't hold any grudges about that. They should do it.
No, yeah, I agree. If we had to guess, you guys, I'll open the floor to you guys. If we had to guess, now we're talking U.S. prices. Any of you guys want to take a stab at how much it's going to cost?
2,000?
Yeah, I was going to say about 2. If I had to guess. Yeah, 2,000.
So up here would be 3 or 27?
2,600.
It'd be like 20,000 Canadian dollars.
Well, the dollar even works now. It's like last time I checked, it was like 142. So it actually makes it 28.
That's good. I get paid in U.S. funds, so I'm not complaining at all. Yeah,
you're one of the lucky ones.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I like
another quick funny story about when I was out working in California. This would have been 2006 to 2009. Partway through that, the Canadian dollar all of a sudden was worth more than the U.S. and I actually got shafted. So just a funny story.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. It's like, oh yeah, I got paid in U.S. dollars, and all of a sudden the Canadian dollar was worth more.
What year was that? 27?
I think that would have been around 2008 when the Canadian dollar was worth more than the American. It happens like every 30 years, I think.
Yeah.
Seriously, it's such a good investment at the time.
It was great. I went down to the States and I bought a truck down in the States, and I made not a killing, but I saved a ton of money doing all the footwork and all the paperwork and everything. And when I brought it back up, friends and family goes, "Really? Why didn't you just get it here?" And it's like, when I told them how much I saved, their jaws dropped.
So when I say I want to go to the States and get a truck, it's like, oh, wow. And meanwhile, you did it.
Buddy, $1.42 is the difference.
But, I mean, it's another topic for a different podcast, but importing a car is a pain in the butt.
I've actually looked into, I found a good deal on the original Roadster. And I actually almost pulled the trigger. I was looking at all the import fees and stuff. I was pretty close to making a deal on it. It's actually the import fees that kind of like pushed over. Like it was a really good deal, but the import fees kind of ruined the deal. So it wasn't a good deal anymore. It was just like, eh. Yeah. So I didn't actually do it. But if I lived there, like I found a really good deal on an original Roadster. So I was like, oh, cool. So I actually did all the research and it didn't make sense.
Sorry. Yeah.
That'd be pretty sick. I'd love an original Roadster.
Can you imagine? Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to hold on to it. I can't believe, I mean, everyone has their personal reasons, right? But I can't believe anyone that has one today is actually would let it go.
Oh, geez, man.
Yeah.
Was that based on the Lotus Elan or?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I've been like, not actively looking, but I look every once in a while to see what kind of prices they go for. if I ever find one at a good price point of, it's hard too because it's all about like part availability. But I mean, if I ever find one at a good price, I will buy it. It's just hard with imports and stuff, and there's not a lot in Canada to begin with. So
yeah, it's not worth it now with the way the dollar is. If it was closer to par, even I'd say $110. And also what's happened too since 2008 when I got mine, the discrepancy between the U.S. price and the Canadian price, just sticker price I'm talking about, was so much. Was such a big gap. Now they've narrowed the gap a lot, so it's a lot closer to each other. But you're saying, Paul, that the importing is a pain. There is paperwork involved, and there is some footwork, and you got to get all your ducks in a row. But if you do your homework and stuff like that, it's pretty straightforward. I didn't find it hard. I didn't find it hard at all. Now, would I do it for every vehicle? No, but
there's companies that do it all for you. Where you pay them like a fee and they'll do it, right?
Yep. Yeah, and a lot of those companies sprung up from the 2008 timeline when it was popular to do it.
Yeah.
Well, things are changing, right? Kind of like Sentry Mode.
Yes, but
oh, that's on the list. I can't wait to talk about that.
Yeah, no, he's looking at the list and he knows that I have. Can you see my screen? Can you see how I have stuff queued up like this, for example? Is that what you see? Because, or
what do you mean? I just see I just go straight off the list.
Yeah, for everyone at home, we have a list of topics that we talk about, and I exchange it with them just so we know as a heads up what's coming up next. So my guests aren't in the dark. Because the last thing I want is you guys to like throw a topic as a surprise on you.
That'd be funny though.
Yeah, sure. Well, maybe I should do it. So whenever I say that, what are you doing?
I'm in the dark.
Oh, I get it. Oh, that's such a dad joke.
Oh,
that's a joke I should be saying. Anyway, speaking of that, new headphones. I borrowed these off my daughter. She's like, "Dad, you can't wear these on your podcast. Everyone's gonna think they're pink." Well, I don't care. They're nice and
it's 2020.
I couldn't find, and actually they're not pink. They're rose gold, and I couldn't find my other ones. So there's nothing wrong with rocking rose gold and white headphones. Moving on to our next topic, folks. Brought to you by Electric. Tesla, they got their hand slapped a little bit. Now, you would have thought that this would have happened a long time ago. What I'm talking about is that Sentry Mode icon on our screens, I guess on all the Teslas for Sentry Mode, that red glowing eye. We all know, or if you don't know, it's from a HAL 9000 for back, what was it? How long ago did that movie come out?
1968. I've got all the facts. I'm ready to go.
Oh, go ahead then. You know, let me take over because I don't have all those facts. Yeah.
Okay. So,
who's the main actor or actress?
I don't know who the actor is. I know who wrote it and directed it as Stanley Kubrick. But do you know the main actor? I don't know.
No, I don't know. You said you had all the facts.
I didn't look that up.
It wasn't important. I'm looking at the article right here, guys. It says the main actor was Fred Lambert.
Okay, good.
No kidding.
So the reason why I wanted to look is because I'm going to talk a little bit about copyright because I have a gripe. But okay, let's start with first of all, I think it was the perfect icon, or I don't know if icon or graphic or whatever, for Sentry Mode, right? For those of us who are old enough to remember the movie, it just makes sense. It's so awesome. Elon knows it's awesome, and I think MGM, the owners of, I guess, the IP, right, of that movie, the intellectual property, I think they're being, can I say dicks? Can I say that on your channel? Okay, well, I just did. Because they could introduce whole new generations to a classic Stanley Kubrick movie. And I think it was a great opportunity for MGM. And they should have just allowed, in my opinion, Tesla to use this because it benefits them. And if you look at I'm just going to talk briefly about the copyright, right? So if you look at the movie was made in 1968, it's 52 years old. The creative credits go to Stanley Kubrick and another person, Arthur C. Clarke, I believe. Stanley Kubrick's been dead for 21 years. Arthur C. Clarke's been dead for 12 years. So the creative people, got from this artistic venture, they were paid, right? And I'm probably going to peeve off a lot of IP lawyers here and stuff like that. But, I think reasonably, MGM should have allowed it. And that's my position on it. I think it's the perfect graphic for Sentry Mode, and it's a lost opportunity for MGM.
No, you're absolutely right. Who does it harm? That's what you have to ask yourself.
They weren't even making money off of, like, they're making no revenue off of the movie.
Yeah.
So it's like literally, it's just a stupid suit. Correct me here, which is, this is not the first time it's happened to Tesla either.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
The one I remember last was the racing game that they added.
Pole position 2.
Pole position.
Pole position. That's it. Yeah. So that one goes removed for copyright stuff too.
You know what? No, but this is perfect. Tesla is exactly like me. Ask for forgiveness, not for permission. Or I totally butchered that saying, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. The whole unicorn thing. They ended up changing that. Like, think of all the changes on the software because people get upset. Yeah, the unicorn on the drawing pad, the drawing app.
Oh, yes.
Yep.
And
that one they had a problem with.
Did they really?
Yep. Because the guy who submitted it got complained and ended up putting like a lawsuit or something.
Oh. Because that guy lives in Newmarket. If I'm correct, I could be wrong, but I want to say that guy is friends with Trevor Page. If I'm not mistaken, I think I met him too in California. I totally forget your name. I apologize. And he was the nicest guy. I can't imagine that he would have an issue. Anyways, I believe you.
Just a comment here. Tesla should license the IP, and I agree fully, right?
Yes, they should license IP, and MGM should be reasonable.
See, I think, so like Tesla going ahead and adding it is obviously in the wrong. They should have licensed it ahead of time. So like I agree with that comment. But at the same time, like some of these companies have to be reasonable with their licensing fees, where they're not always reasonable, especially something like this where they're making no money off of it. Now it's an opportunity.
And introducing it to a new group of people who will go and either watch it on Apple TV or wherever and stream it, and MGM makes money, right? It's a lost opportunity.
Well, think about it this way. They have it in the car. Like, how cool would it have been to say, hey, purchase this movie, like a one-time fee. You could have watched this movie in your car where Sentry Mode is based on, like the icon.
All sorts of ideas.
Yeah, so Tesla could have made some money off of that as well. MGM could have made some money. But at the same time, like, I do agree they should be licensing.
Well, the next one that's going to be changed is tracks. Because I did a video on tracks. I don't know if you guys remember it, where I showed the the music creation capability of it. And on that video, I actually had the owner of a music production or publication company called Tracks comment in my video that Tesla stole their trademark. And so I looked it up. The font is almost identical. So I'm predicting that Tracks is probably going to get renamed at some point in time as well.
Okay, question for you though: is it just the name that's the same, or the software? Because from what I understand, the software is on GitHub and it's open source. I don't know what the licensing is, but
I think it's because it's if you look at a music studio or a music production company or whatever the right word is for that label, I don't know, but if it's involved with music and it's using their name and a very similar font, I think they have an argument.
No, they do.
No,
right?
I'm not disagreeing. I just mean from a software side. As far as I know, the software is
the software is fine.
So I think it's just the name and the font, and they're gonna have to make some changes. As if Tesla always does, right? Tesla always makes changes after people complain.
So you heard it here first again on Dax's channel, Tesla Talks. Tracks is going to get renamed.
Yeah.
Okay. I let you guys speak, and I let you guys get it all out of your system and stuff like that with copyright. And I sounded like I didn't really care, but I hear the cat in the room still. That's funny. But I can't believe you can't hear it.
I keep wearing
No, getting back, what I was going to say is what people don't know is I'm a lawyer. Okay. So
are you a lawyer?
I'm a lawyer. Yes, I'm a lawyer. And I know this kind of stuff. So just like Tesla MD says, Tesla should have licensed the IP in the comments down below. They should have, because here's what's going to happen. Yeah, Tesla. Well, first of all, Tesla's a big company, a big corporation. They're not a small fish in a big pond anymore. They're big. If they were small, you can almost see some of these big corporations letting them get away with it. But they're big. They ought to know better. And I think what these companies are doing, like you said, yeah, it's no skin off their back to let them do it. And if anything, it might benefit them. But I think what the way these companies like MGM is looking at it is like, if we let Tesla do it, then it opens up a floodgates, and we got to let everyone else do it because it sets a precedent and stuff like that. So it's a blanket thing that they're all doing to everyone, no matter whether it's Tesla, whether it's GM, whether it's Sony, whether it's Apple. Everyone's got to get licensed IP.
Oh.
That's what I think.
Hey, Franklin. Sorry, what does Shakespeare say about lawyers?
I'm
not a lawyer. I was kidding. I'm not a lawyer.
Oh, okay. Okay, well then never mind what he said. He said
I know
kill
he
all
said
the lawyers,
that I know that he said what was it? Like
kill all the lawyers.
No, but I know he also said that you have killed me after the person's still alive.
I do not.
He can't
I do
always
not
take what he
condone
says.
killing of anybody on this show, please.
Okay, so
No,
you
no,
are
what I'm
not a
saying is-
lawyer then, Dex.
No, and the funny thing, Paul,
you got me
is,
there. You got me
is
there.
the whole time I was explaining my little rant there, my little mumbo jumbo, I was looking at your face, and I know you weren't even listening to a word I was saying. The only thing you were thinking, I could read your face, was, he's a lawyer? All this time he was a lawyer?
I'm like wondering why you're not driving a roadster already.
Yeah, and that's how
he's a good lawyer.
And that's how you know I'm not
exactly.
a lawyer. It doesn't matter it doesn't matter if you're a good lawyer, you still make money, right?
They seem
no,
to.
not necessarily. I know some.
They don't get business.
Oh,
Okay.
seriously, yeah. Okay.
Moving on to
Moving
our
on.
last, and you know what's funny? There's a lot of funny things about this episode, but what's funny is compared to 2 weeks and maybe even 3 weeks, the last 2 or 3 weeks, the amount of content that we talked about the Model Y in the last 2 or 3 episodes was, I mean, there was some episodes, episode 8, where it was nothing but the Model Y. Or even the episode before, there was nothing but the Model Y. And I think I remember saying, if you guys want to hear other content, come back another day when there's other stuff. Like, and for example, like this episode where we're talking about a bunch of different things. But the reason, exactly. The reason I bring that up is because our last topic is, lo and behold, and I'm talking, I didn't even cue it up here, is about the Model Y and what it's.
Before we get too deep into it, I just want to ask a quick question. Is Model Y related?
Yeah. Oh, I thought you could ask me about my lawyer.
No. I'm off that.
Okay.
Does anyone have, and be honest, okay, does anyone have Model Y burnout at this point in time? I don't know how many more Model Y videos I can watch.
Oh, video-wise. Yeah, video-wise maybe, but you know what? Some of my good YouTube friends are putting out some good creative stuff. Yeah, there was that initial flood.
Yeah.
And I think now that maybe the deliveries have stopped and dried up, I think whoever has them, and they'll hold on to them. Actually, they'll hold on to them. With that said, I read an article today that someone is selling one.
What?
Yeah, I'll pull up the article as you guys are talking.
I already saw one got sold for 15 or 20,000 more than initial price.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, maybe that's the same article I just perused today.
But truthfully, like I put out
burnout?
one video. I went to go see the Y, and that's the only video I put out. And beyond that, like I watched some of Brian's stuff because I really like Brian, one of my favorite YouTubers. And he has a Y, so he's putting out a lot of Y videos. But beyond him, there's just way too much Y content. And it's like every return, it's just like why? You're right.
So
Why?
what you're saying is you don't want to do this next topic?
Oh, not really.
Okay.
You know Finding Nemo, the scene with all the birds that say mine?
Mine.
Yeah. I feel like we're living that, but with Y. So it's like why?
Buddy, you should have set this up before. I would have had it all queued up and everything.
You can't use Nemo. That's trademark.
Yeah, but I could do it like for 2 seconds.
He asked for permission afterwards. He's a lawyer, Paul.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yes, Paul. If I was a lawyer, would I be asking for permission?
He does it the Tesla way.
No. I know what you guys are saying, and it's a very valid point you bring up, Paul. That there could be burnout from all the saturated Model Y content out there.
I'm just waiting for something new to come in my feed. That's all.
Like truthfully, the Y is like I own 80% of a or 70% of a Y right now.
Yeah.
Like I have 70% of the Y. I'm missing only 30%. so
that's an interesting way to think about it.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Go ahead. Let's do this. Why? Potential third row seat explored.
Yes. Oh yeah. Sorry, you guys. I was daydreaming, letting you guys just go off.
Dream about those court cases.
Sandy, I'm not a lawyer. Sandy Monroe. If anyone doesn't know who Sandy Monroe is, he's a automobile industry guy. Expert, I guess you could say, for engineering and automation and all that kind of stuff. Anyways, he is, I don't know who gave him this car, who's brave enough to give him this car, but someone gave him, or maybe a company, who knows, gave him a Model Y, and for the past couple weeks, I guess, or a week, he's been putting out small videos here and there, which is good. I think this one is episode 10 by the looks of it, where he's inspecting different parts of the car, and he's taking you along with it, and he's got a camera crew, and as you can see, they're all practicing social distancing and wearing masks and everything for contamination purposes. So that's good. But what I watched, Dave, tell me if you guys watch it. Do you watch it's only like 3 or 4 minutes of how we go through the whole heat pump thing. Did you guys watch that?
I did not see that one.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It's like the heat pump thing is really fascinating for me. Anyways, in this one, what we're talking about is how he explores the third row seats and how his thinking about it is. And as you can see, if you're watching at home or if you're watching it on YouTube, you can see the picture that I have up, and you guys can see it, the two guys I have on the show here. You can see how, and he's thinking that to do a good, decent space third row, he's saying he thinks that they're going to do it rear facing. And when you look at the picture and you look at him sitting in there, you think, wow, that would actually work. And we know they did it in the early versions of the Model S, and it worked out. Because anyone, and I haven't seen it myself other than videos, but anyone that has seen the third row seat in the flesh when they did the test drive on reveal night back last year, everyone says it's tiny. And we know it's tiny because any CUV or SUV that has a third row, other than those big giant Yukons and Escalades and stuff like that, they are small in general. They're only going to hold small kids, people that are short and stuff like that. So
or chop off your legs and you'll be fine.
What? Just kidding.
So chop off your legs and you'll be fine.
I heard you.
Kids are flexible. They can sit with their legs crossed.
But I think the rear
they don't need
facing,
circulation.
I think the rear facing, like if you're not watching it, it's hard to. If you're just listening to what we're saying, it's hard to visualize. But if you're watching it, you can definitely see it. Him sitting like that looks really comfortable, and he seems like he has quite a bit of room. Like. I don't even know if it's worth. Well, I guess you need seatbelts and stuff for it to be safe and everything else. But I was going to say, like, I don't even think they need to do too much work to get the extra seats in the back, right?
No,
if they did it like that,
it looks kind of like it's set up already.
Like it does look like there's some natural planning there for a rear facing. Is that what you call it?
Rear facing.
Rear facing third row. The only thing is that. How practical is that for your passengers, right? I mean, it's kind of weird, isn't it? Maybe it's just me, but I like being facing the direction that I'm traveling in. I know a lot of people actually get sick if they're not facing the direction they're traveling in.
Kids would love this.
Think about it.
Kids probably fine.
Think about it this way, Paul. How about like a bus, like public transit, a bus, a train? You don't always face the direction you're going. Sometimes you face the opposite direction.
The GO train,
So
it's much bigger space, though.
Yeah, true. No, but, okay. Let me back up for people that are at home. The people that are listening to this on audio and hasn't seen this picture by Sandy Monroe. Let me just go through it and try to visualize it for you guys. So anyone that's listening to it, close your eyes. get in your little warm spot there, and think of the Model Y with the hatch opened up. And if you've seen it before, you've seen all that vast cavernous space. Now, that well area, that basically, I call it a well, but basically it's a sub-trunk. Yep. That sub-trunk, think of that that platform or that cover that's taken off. So now picture someone sitting with the second row seats up. That's fine. You don't have to worry about that. Sitting facing the back with the hatch up, and they're putting their feet, and we're talking here as an adult in this picture here, but putting their feet in that sub-trunk well area and just sitting on that bench. That's what Sandy is doing in this picture, and he looks very comfortable.
Lots of headroom.
Lots of headroom, because now the headroom isn't going towards the back halfway where the trunk would be. It's actually still up by the top of the trunk where the glass would still be, right?
Yeah. So it takes advantage of being able to have your head before the steep slope of the rear windshield.
Yep.
Right. So, or window, or whatever you want to call it.
Real quick point. They're gonna have to bring USBs back here. If you're gonna have kids, back here, you need USBs.
Yeah.
Well, you know what else they need? They need a Raspberry Pi back there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone needs Raspberry Pis everywhere.
Yeah, Franklin's got 10 of them, right?
Okay. I just thought of something else as I'm staring at this picture and listening to you guys talk. So no, I've watched some videos and read some articles in the past couple of weeks since the Y's been out, and people are complaining, or some were complaining, but some were just pointing it out. See the bottom. I don't know if you guys can see the picture that I'm doing, and if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see that where my cursor is, where the bottom of the trunk jamb is. See how it just melds, and if you're listening to this at home, just check out a picture of the back of the Model Y afterwards, where the bumper it basically blends into the bumper of the lower bumper of the Model Y, as opposed to if you look at the Model 3, there's actually a ledge where the bumper is before the trunk starts. This one there isn't. Basically the bottom of the trunk door is the top part of the bumper. So I'm thinking they might have done that on purpose for easy egress.
Yes.
To get in there.
Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking that. And also, see these two, I know on the Model 3, there's only one on the side, on the left-hand side of the trunk. There's that little cubby hole, I guess. Little storage. On the Model Y, there's two. Now, I'm wondering if someone is sitting back there, if those could be cup holders.
Yeah. It's the probability is pretty high. It could very well be this way. But speaking of the rear hatch, and I'm not sure if this is something that's going to be relevant, but I remember reading somewhere about an issue they're having with the rear hatch and water. Is it water that's getting in or something like that? Or
of the Ys?
Yeah. Have you heard anything like that?
No. The only thing I saw on the Y with the rear hatch was somebody had a white one, took a picture of it, and it was from the factory before delivery, and it was already damaged. And they were saying, how could Tesla be, selling this? That's what I saw.
Well, just another random thought, okay? Just like analyzing the picture here. You know those little side buttons that allow the seats to go up and down? Well, it's mostly down, not up. You know what I'm talking about on the in the photo on the left?
Yep.
There has to be a way to disable those too, because if you're going to put kids in the back here, they really want them to be able to flip the seats down.
Well, that's all software. Yeah, that's all software. The minute it would recognize pressure in the back seat in the third row, it could disable that.
Well, would it have to be pressure based? Because what if you want to put something there and you have leaning there and you're like, okay, let's press the button real quick to bring it down.
Well, it only goes down a certain amount.
Yeah. Okay.
It only goes down.
Fair.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying it's just something they're going to have to change, right? They're going to have to add some kind of software in. I know it's random, but anyway, sorry.
No, but you know what? With all, sorry, go ahead, Paul.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, to end off, or you can continue afterwards. I'm going to end off by saying, I think this is a perfect ergonomic position, and those things that I mentioned earlier, those other two things with the cup holders and possibly the lower bumper and everything, all sounds sensible and makes sense for practicality. But like I was talking to my buddy Trevor regarding this, and he swears, no, they won't do that, because between when they revealed the car, and that was the prototype back a year ago in March, to now wouldn't have been enough time to re-engineer this and change it around. And he swears for sure they're not going to do this. I tend to...
We're talking about a company that just created ventilators.
Well, this and this was my argument. I never got into an argument with Trevor, don't get me wrong. But this is why I'm a little... put it this way. Yeah, it probably won't happen, but I wouldn't be surprised if the third row design did come out. I wouldn't be like shocked. I would be like, okay, well, this is what we were thinking 8 months ago, right?
We're talking about someone who's like Elon Musk, a forward-thinking guy, where he's cool to say, hey, our initial plan didn't work. Let's scrap it. Let's do this. And it's something I really like about him, where he doesn't stick with something just because he's doing it if it doesn't work, if it's not the best solution possible.
Exactly.
I can see him, maybe he saw this picture for all we know, and he's like, oh, that's a brilliant idea. Let's go change it now. And
scrap everything.
There's some engineers right now that are really angry at this photo that's been surfacing, saying, what'd you guys do? Now we have to redo what we did, right? So I don't know.
There's a lot of precedent, all right? Because if you look at Tesla's the only automobile manufacturer that doesn't really have a model year, right? They will change something at any time. Now, you could order your car, and 2 weeks later after you receive it, they've made a change and made the next person's car better, right? Yeah. And they've been doing this, as long as I've been following Tesla.
And I've heard people complain about that, but I'm all for it, because
me too.
You're getting the best possible car the day you order it. It might be better 2 weeks later. You don't know, but you know that at your point of ordering, you're getting the best. It's not like, oh, let me wait a couple more months. The new version is going to be released. It's kind of dumb the way traditional automakers work, if you think about it. Because it's like, and ours is all software. So my car is no different than a car that's brand new, that's coming off the line today, right? So it's really cool.
Well, I have experience, because with our Model X, 2 weeks after we took delivery, that's when hardware 2.5 went into all the new ones. So I'm sitting with a Model X with hardware 2.0. Hopefully I'll get the hardware upgrade soon. But I don't hold a grudge against that. I totally get it, and I would prefer a strategy like Elon's, where the car is under a constant state of improvement, right? And like you said, Franklin, the day you get your car, that's the best possible car that they could build for you, and I'm okay with that.
It is, but it isn't.
Sometimes it doesn't work out well, like Paul, right?
That didn't work out very well, did it?
No, but think about it this way. Like, think about the people who got it 2 weeks later. They didn't know at the time, and they placed their order, and they're like... Same time, and they got the best possible vehicle. They didn't have to wait for a New Year release. Yeah. Right? So, I don't know.
Yeah, I know, I agree. And you know what? They are getting the best possible car at that time, hardware-wise. But, buddy, all our cars are 2018. You think if we were a traditional car manufacturer, we would be up on par with our cars that are 2020? Like, because really, other than a few little things here and there, our cars are just as good as the 2020s that came off back in January.
Yeah.
So have you guys looked at the resale value of our 2018s?
No. Have you?
No,
I have. Yeah.
Yeah. Are we doing okay?
It is insanely impressive. Like, we haven't lost much money, especially if you got the government rebate in Ontario. Like, we're still up. We haven't lost anything.
Yes.
It really holds its value. It's because of what Dax is saying. Like, we're not really losing anything.
Yeah, and if people like buyers, which it's still wrapping their head, the trouble is wrapping their head around it. But if sellers, sorry, I keep saying sellers, if buyers would understand that for the electric car like Tesla, mileage doesn't make a difference really, other than the warranty stuff like that, then that whole aspect of your car's worth less because it's been driven more would be out the window.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it's fascinating, and I think our cars will be driven a lot more once FSD finally gets released.
Well, our buddy Backseat Baller. How many clicks? How many clicks? How many clicks does he have now?
I tried, but like 110,000.
Last time I talked to Mark,
110,000.
Yeah.
Right? Like
he's
drives
disappointed
a lot
because he can't work as much. Like he can't drive as much now because it's not working. And yeah.
Well, my other buddy Rob Spreitzer in Kitchener, I think Kitchener, Cambridge. I think last time I talked to him, he was at 140 something, and so I'm sure he's probably at 150 by now. I think he's still, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong. Please correct me down in the comments below. I think he's got the Canadian record still. He did last summer.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure he does. And I talked to Mark, and I said, Mark, you think you'll ever catch up to him? He's like, no, there's no way. Especially now that I'm not working, because it's like it's just not possible.
Yeah.
Right.
No, but it's.
You could drive to Vancouver and back a few times.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was actually. Never mind. I'm not going to say it here.
Yeah, hold that for another show.
Yeah,
hold that for another show. You know what? I didn't even know about the last topic. I totally forgot about it. But Franklin, the sneaky little guy that he is, he alluded to it quickly there. And you want to. Well, you were right. I think we spoke about this last week when you went on your
rants.
No, I wasn't going to say rant, but I was going to say your little instructional part about FSD and why it's worth more as time goes on, because I think that was beneficial. Like I said, at the time, a lot of people don't understand why. But you were saying how it's going up, and of course, Elon once again with his busyness, I guess you could say, for lack of a better word, on Twitter this past week. Someone had asked him. I don't have it up right here. I apologize.
This is what happened, Dax.
Okay.
He whispered it in my ear.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah, like this.
Yeah. And then he turned.
Yeah, he turns, he whispers into my ear. He tells me, he's like, FSC's going up. Let people know on Dax's podcast.
That's amazing. His lips aren't even moving.
That when he turns quickly like that in the surprise face, was he talking to Jack Ma? Is this from the Jack Ma?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Okay. It is. I know. For all my audio listeners, Franklin's got a green screen and he's got a quick little 5-second loop video of Elon when he was doing the Jack Ma interview, and it looks actually pretty good. It looks like he's there with Elon, other than Elon not saying anything. But yeah, so anyways, he said that someone asked him if it's going to go up, and he said, yeah, probably July 1st. Now it's not for sure, because once again, this is Elon, right?
He said probably, which is the key word there.
Yeah.
But it's probably going to go, like, if I had to guess, it's going to be another $1,000 increase. $1,000 US. Yeah.
Okay. Well, this is why I want to even talk about this, other than giving you full credit for what you had said last week, because you called it. Not that it was any big, surprise. I think everyone knew, but I'm just throwing it out there anyways that you called it. But here's my question to you guys, and I want to know your take on it. When does it get to a point where enough is enough, like price-wise, like when it caps out?
You're not going to like my answer, so I'll let Paul go first.
I don't have a yay or nay on it. So
we might be thinking the same thing, Franklin. You're talking to somebody who bought full self-driving for their Model X in 2017, right? So, but I don't mind because I know that I was helping to develop this technology. I'm good with that. I just don't see level 5 anytime soon. Level 3 or 4, sure. Level 5, I just don't think so, right? So is it really worth that much money if it can't actually drive itself in all conditions, including winter, right? It might be, full self-drive for Californians or something, but here and in other northern climates where there's a winter, I just don't see it. So I don't know how much more expensive it can get before people are just going to bail on it.
Did you just take a picture of yourself, Franklin? Your screen flashed.
No, I'm doing some quick math here to give you a proper answer.
Okay, well, we'll get to you in a second, Franklin, but just on closing, Paul?
Yes.
So if you bought it today without, and FSD is in the state that it is now, even throw in traffic lights and stop signs. throw
Yes.
that in just for argument's sake. What's the most you would pay for it today?
You know, if I'm being honest, and you know, I guess I can say this because it's your channel.
Yeah, I don't care. No. I want to know it. I want your candidness.
I would say I would top out at probably about 4,000 Canadian. That would be my opinion, but
It's already like more than double that.
Yeah,
yes, I know that.
It's 9,000.
Yeah,
isn't it?
So
Okay.
I don't see until I can go to the app and just have my car come and pick me up from 100 kilometers away. That I get, you know, go pick up my kids so I don't have to drive them around, right? Whatever. I get that. There's value in that to me, but we're just not there.
No.
Okay,
It's not
so
worth 9,000 yet.
I'm going to take this in a totally different direction. It might change your opinion.
Okay. Let's do it.
So
Can you do it in 3 minutes?
sure, let's go for it. Tesla should theoretically be able to drive 1 million kilometers with little maintenance.
Yes.
So let's go 1 million kilometers at 50,000 kilometers per year of it self-driving around. You're good for at least 20 years. Okay. 20 years times, Tesla said 30,000 US, which is like 40,000 Canadian, because I'm using all Canadian numbers here. Okay. So you're looking at roughly $800,000 of money earned over the lifetime of the car, assuming it can do full self-driving at 1 million kilometers.
That's a big assumption.
Oh, for sure. I'm not saying it isn't, but let's say my number's even half, right? It's still 400,000. Let's say it's, 1/8 correct. It's still $100,000 for the software full self-driving. So if you factor that, I truly think the software will eventually hit $100,000 or more, just because of the value that it will bring you back over the long run of having it. And if you think the way that Tesla's doing it, I know what you're saying. It's just doing streetlights now. It's not that impressive, but for the end goal of being able to generate a ton of money over the lifespan of having it, you got to imagine that it's going to be worth 100,000 because that's what it can generate. So if they're increasing it incrementally, it's kind of better because you're kind of seeing the small increments rather than saying, oh, it's 10,000 today and tomorrow it's going to be 100,000 because it can do all this, right?
Well, I could tell you one thing for sure, and maybe your scenario is where you're actually keeping the car and using it out as the taxi service. But I could tell you 100% that I do not hold on to a car for 20 years. I've got shiny toy syndrome. 5 years, like matter of fact, I've already have a plan that my Model 3 is going to be replaced by the Cybertruck. Right?
So what if your Model 3 right now can drive around and make you 40,000 a year?
That would be pretty appealing, but it doesn't.
No. I'm not saying it. But that's where Tesla's headed.
Yes,
so,
I know that's where they're heading. It's just a question of when, and does it truly have all the hardware to do that? Now, I'm not trying to be skeptical on purpose, right? I'm trying to be realistic based on what I see today. Right?
No, and it's fair.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, if you think small incremental $1,000 increases to FSD over time as it's able to do more stuff, it kind of makes sense, right? That way the price will gradually go up as they continuously get closer. So we're not going to see FSD until it's like over 25,000 is what I'm guessing.
Yeah. Well, we should take a poll. Anybody watching or listening or watching after the fact in the comment section, how much would you pay for full self-driving? I'd be curious, right?
I see, frankly, I see your scenario and I see your numbers and they make sense. I think those numbers aren't, like Paul's saying, aren't realistic now. And I see Paul's argument too. So I think if you took your numbers and your 1 million mile scenario and you took that in 5 years, like Paul's realistic expectation, because I'm thinking, I'd say, correct me if I'm wrong, Paul, if you agree with me, 5 years probably we may see it. Okay, so we take that, your scenario, in 5 years, then yeah. But today, if they put it up another $1,000 come July, now it's over 10,000 Canadian. Do you fault people for not buying it at that point?
I don't fault people for not buying it at that point.
Franklin?
I do.
I don't.
Yeah?
You
Really?
buy it early and it'll be worth more later. If you're going to hold the car for 5 years.
We need to have this podcast redo it in like 10 years.
Yeah. Well, if YouTube doesn't go anywhere, this podcast won't go anywhere.
I want to pay more than what other companies are charging for level 5 autonomy. But see, no other company is really giving you the opportunity to pay for it, right?
Yeah, I didn't get your answer at the end of the day. Give me. I know you may say there isn't a number, but just give me a number that you would say, "Whoa, that's ridiculous. I'm not paying that."
Me?
Frankly, yes.
Oh, so
give me a number.
If full self-driving exists, I'd pay up to $100,000 for it.
Okay, no. Yes.
And today's current stand, I'll pay anything under $100,000 because I know if I believe in the company enough where it's going to head in that direction, or I can keep the car long enough, I'll make back that money and then some.
Okay, so I think what we could take from this,
sorry, that's not like a correct answer.
So that doesn't sound like economics 101 to me. There's something wrong here.
What I was going to say is what we could take by Franklin's deduction here is if you get a car and you get FSD and you pay tens of thousands of dollars for it, you better keep that car.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, if
you better keep that car.
If you're planning to keep the car and you believe in Tesla's overall goal, I don't see a problem paying 10, 15, 20,000 for it. But if you're going to keep it.
Yeah, but if you not 100% sure and you think that a car may be rolled over in 4 or 5 years, then I wouldn't probably buy it, right?
You know, if I put my futurist hat on, right, probably the concept of car ownership as we know it today is going to be different anyways in the future, right? It's probably going to be a shared, asset, right?
People can own fleets.
Yeah, or something, right? So who knows what's going to happen in the future? But I can tell you today, based on what I know today, I would not pay that for full self-driving. Yeah, that's just me.
Yeah,
no, it's fair. And look, I know a lot of people don't agree with me,
especially up front. Maybe on a subscription program.
Well, think about it this way.
I think they should do a subscription program. Go ahead.
You bought it, right, Paul? You have full self-driving.
Yeah, I have full self-driving on both of them. Yeah.
Yeah. So what price did you pay for your full self-driving on your 3, let's say?
Well, there's a story for both of them, but
in a nutshell.
In a nutshell, okay. Just because I don't know what I can say, I'm going to say I paid $4,000 for it each.
Okay. Dax, how much did you pay?
Canadian.
For full self-driving?
Yeah.
Back last February when Elon was playing with the numbers back and forth and they gave a deadline where it was going to go up, I got it for the low bottom basement price of 27 Canadian.
That's why you don't have. What's that? That's what you paid.
That's what I got mine for.
Yeah. Oh, so we both. Yeah. So
my average cost is $2,000, but I can't get into.
You're a lot smarter than you look, Franklin. So am I.
But here's the thing, right? So think about it this way: your car is appreciated in value, like all our cars have appreciated in value since you paid that. Oh,
I agree. Yeah, because as it keeps going up, if I was to put it on Auto Trader tomorrow with FSD in there. Yeah.
So knowing that, even if you keep the car for let's say 3 years and you bought full self-driving today at 10,000 and you assume it's going to go up 5,000 over a 3-year period, which is really low. I think it'd go up more than that. But let's say it was not going to help increase keep your investment. So wouldn't that even help you?
Yes and no. It would practically, yes. But then I think it would get to a certain point. And that's the whole reason I brought this topic up in the first place, or I asked you guys a question. It would get to a certain point that people would be like, oh, hell no, I'm not getting it. And they'd be like scared away or shy away from FSD until they see some tangible things they can do with it.
Yeah, I see Mitchell made a good point in the comments here about taxi medallions, right? And yes, they got really, really expensive, especially in New York City.
Yeah.
Until what? Until
Uber,
right? So, do you see anything in, that could be the Uber of
FSD?
Yeah, exactly.
We'll put
teleportation.
Yeah, who knows? Once again, like you said, you made the joke a couple minutes ago about putting on your crystal ball or your futuristic helmet.
Well, there's a company that JOBY had, which Apple bought out, which looked pretty promising.
Yeah.
But even he said himself, and if you guys don't know who he is, look him up. He's a ridiculous engineer.
George is
George Hotz, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think we all know him.
He's a guru for the Apple community. I'm surprised you know him.
Well, he does a lot of stuff. Like he was sued by PlayStation. Yeah, he worked for Google for a number of years, Microsoft, He got purchased out by Apple. But even he said himself, it's all about data, and his company would be a year or 2 years behind whatever Tesla did.
Yep.
And his looked pretty promising until Apple bought it. And I'm not putting down Apple. I'm just saying that they're going the whole lidar perspective, which may or may not work.
Fool's errand?
Maybe. We don't know yet, right? Because I know a lot of people are like totally against that because they listen to what Elon's saying. But realistically, the only level 4 autonomy car we have today is based off that, right? True level 4 autonomy, which is Waymo. So
yeah, that's right.
This was a very good discussion to end off the podcast, guys. This was passionate and whatever words I'm looking for here. No. Hey, this is what I wanted from, like I said to you guys from day one. I want true representation of your personal opinions. I mean, we're all adults and we can obviously do it as was exhibited here in a mature,
I hate Paul now.
mature way. No, save your hate
Franklin.
for when we go off. Guys, we got another minute here. Then you guys can curse each other all you want.
I'm just joking. We're good friends off air too.
At least pretend for the viewers you guys like each other right now. No, all jokes
Franklin's
aside.
my buddy.
No,
we're
all jokes
all
aside,
good buddies.
we're good friends off air. Like we don't just like we do this for fun, and we are good friends off air, and like there's no love loss because we're giving our opinions and they differ, and it's actually a lot of fun. Like
this is all orchestrated. I got Paul to say one thing and Franklin to say another thing. No, I'm kidding.
It's a lawyer in him, eh, Paul?
That's right.
It's a lawyer in me. Yes, I'm a lawyer, everyone.
He's a real
Anyways,
estate lawyer.
we will end off. We're at an hour and 26 minutes. Paul, seeing you haven't been here in a while, do you want to plug your
real quick?
Sorry, go ahead.
See,
Real
Franklin, he
quick.
always takes over.
No, real quick. Is there any quick questions that anyone has?
Yes, sorry. Yes, I was just expecting them throughout the show, and I didn't see any because
I've been trying to keep an eye on them.
Yeah, me too. I'm getting better at keeping
Paul, where
questions.
can we find you? I feel so bad.
Even if we did have questions, we would save them for next week just because the show is running a little long.
Okay, fine.
Go ahead, Paul. Where can we find you?
YouTube.com/Tesla Canuck. Basically, Tesla Canuck on any of the social media.
Thank you.
All right. The same thing, but Mother Frunker across all social media.
Perfect.
And Dax, where can we find you?
You can find me right on your screen or right in your speakers that you're hearing right now. There's no need to pump my channel.
Okay, so in other words, you can find him Tesla Talks on Twitter, Dax M on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe, like his video, and tune in next week when he does another one.
Exactly what he said.
Well put, Franklin.
Thank you, Franklin. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, everyone at home, for watching or listening. Join us here next week as we do it all over once again. Bye-bye, guys.
Yeah.
Stay well, everyone. Please stay well.